version, you will see that Kaufmo appears far less intimidating before the glitchy texture and vacant eyes were applied to him. Additionally, I discovered walking animations for several characters that were never utilized or were used, but ultimately not shown in the final episode render. Observing these makes you ponder what else these animations could have been employed for, like what is Pomni fleeing from? We also see the entire circus crew walking together, which raises my curiosity about whether we will ever witness these characters collaborating to thwart Kane in their attempt to escape this digital circus, rather than the chaos depicted in Episode 1. This segment illustrates the running animations of an abstracted character, but it is noteworthy that the text below indicates abstracted Kaufmo run cycles. In the first episode, when abstracted Kaufmo is cast into the cellar, we catch a fleeting glimpse of many characters who used to be part of the circus, suggesting that all the circus members who have been abstracted will likely appear similar. However, since this text specifically identifies Kaufmo as the one who has been abstracted, rather than merely labeling him as an abstracted circus member, I am led to believe that if another circus member is to undergo abstraction, they will differ from Kaufmo abstracted form, even if only slightly. While these aren't strictly unused animations from the episode, we do possess a variety of facial renders and animations from each of the iconic characters in the amazing digital circus, such as this animation of Pomni attempting to suppress her vomit or looking quite disturbed by something, reminiscent of how we observed her in the dinner scene of the very first episode. Another early scene I uncovered was a demo version of the moment when Regatha and Pomni first encounter Kaufmo after his abstraction. It is interesting to point out the adoption of a more cartoonish animation style in the demo, with Regatha movements appearing considerably more fluid, akin to those of a cartoon character. In contrast, in the final episode release, her movements are much more restrained. According to the lead animator, this adjustment was made to give the scene a more serious tone, as it portrays Pomni and Ragatha in peril, and Ragatha's silly, cartoon-like movements could disrupt that tone. Here we are shown what is labeled as cursed development photos, and I couldn't agree more. Many of these characters are depicted as distorted or modeled in quite a peculiar manner, with elements of their design clipping through their bodies, such as in this case, where Jax's eyes and teeth appear fused together. However, something I wanted to theorize about for a moment is this screenshot displaying Jax in a manner that is very creepy and deranged, unlike how he is portrayed in the pilot episode. As you may be aware, it is widely speculated that Jax will be one of the first characters following Kaufmo to undergo abstraction, with many believing it will occur as early as the next episode. This raises my curiosity regarding what the abstraction process will entail. I don't anticipate they will simply transform from a regular circus performer into a massive beast like Kaufmo appeared in the pilot. This image leads me to think that perhaps abstraction is a more gradual process, and this could represent the beginning of Jax's transformation. Let's hope that isn't the case, though, because if Jax were to be abstracted, the fan community would likely erupt in chaos. Another scene I have here features Pomni on her way to assist Ragatha after Kaufmo assault, but instead of walking, Pomni merely floats. Here's the exciting thing I wanted to share with you all. I have discovered an alternative version of the show's original introductory theme.
Let's get right into the show!
This theme I found also includes alternate lyrics. For example, instead of the original version glitching out and repeating we hear different lyrics. Not only is there that, but the introduction includes more lyrics that do not appear in the final episode. This is particularly interesting because one of the most iconic and beloved aspects of this show is its incredibly catchy introduction theme, and hearing the extended version of the intro song is genuinely enjoyable. Additionally, it is intriguing to hear what is intended to be Cain singing, cautioning Pomni not to touch the door before it has even been explained why she is present. As you may know, Cain has been concealing the false exit door for some time, as it leads to the void, which he feels self-conscious about, and does not wish for the cast to see his unfinished and incomplete work. The final element I wanted to share with you all was the character animations, uploaded to Glitch Productions' YouTube channel several months before the show even premiered. We can examine some demo versions, and it has been revealed for the first time that these characters have been animated, which makes it fascinating to consider how the animators figured out how to make the characters act on screen to align with their personalities. We are also presented with the very first animation ever created for the amazing digital circus.
Welcome to the amazing digital circus! Are you ready to see something incredible? Well, too bad. You're gonna see it anyway. In today's show, we've got quite the performance. Whoops, wrong thingamagigama. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Pomni here is gonna perform something you've never seen before. Don't worry, my dear. You won't even die horribly. Well, I think we both had something to learn from that experience.
It shows Cain, the circus's ringmaster, showcasing everything there is to know about the digital circus before introducing the show's star, Pomni, and some antics between Pomni and Cain, where Cain is throwing knives at Pomni, who is bound to a spinning target. I must admit, it is quite humorous and a fantastic way to introduce the show. 2 episode. Along with the release of the second episode, we were presented with a plethora of additional information, including deleted scenes from the new episode, which we will discuss today. I'd like to start with the moment where Cain erased Gummy Goo from the digital circus, resulting in Pomni experiencing a panic attack.
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen? Well, I'm gonna go drink water. It's been a while since I've done that.
Initially, we were shown that the creators made all the characters against a gray background, resulting in the environment around them being barren. If you observe the models of Cain and Pomni, it becomes immediately apparent that they are far from perfect. Pomni lacks any lighting or shading, while Cain's eyes appear incredibly eerie as usual. Since no color work has been completed yet, Pomni panic attack scene appears twice as terrifying as it did in the second episode. Many viewers expressed their admiration for the flawless movements of the Fudge monster and how excellently the creators executed the fluid movements during that moment.
I am the Fudge. I used to live within the kingdom walls, but I was banished by that rotten princess after I ate too many of the delicious townfolk. Oh, they were so delicious. Sometimes I can hear them calling to me.
Just like in the previous scene, aside from the liquid in which Fudge is floating and the truck carrying the characters, nothing else has been completed. Additionally, the monster itself, although it closely resembles what was depicted in the new episode, still lacks many details that significantly impact the assessment of the work. It isn't ready yet. For instance, all of Fudge's movements we observe in the second episode were already finalized, but their smoothness was polished. I won't repeat myself about color correction for the second time, but regarding the monster itself, I would like to mention a few more points. Initially, we see that the teeth were a slightly different color, and we still do not notice many circles in the eyes, as seen in the final version. One of the most poignant scenes in the new episode is the initial encounter between Pomni and Gummy Goo, which ultimately transforms Gummy Goo from the episode's main antagonist into a deeply saddened alligator, whose story takes a turn.
Why are you trying to cheer me up? How does this benefit you at all?
I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're nothing. I don't don't want anybody to feel like that.
But I'm not even a real person. Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me. And I could use a friend.
However, the intention behind this change was to ultimately enable the audience to develop feelings toward Gummy Goo. He is not only an antagonist anymore, but instead a character with a backstory worthy of sympathy. Would have been with the earlier version. Now we finally see Martha Millenhall's full-body design, which didn't appear in the episode since she was seated in every scene. One of the most intriguing pieces of concept art features Kinger glowing. Pomni isn't present, hinting that this scene may have been more focused on Kinger's story rather than Pomni's. While Kinger comforting words were crucial for Pomni's character development, this notion of him glowing in the dark hints at something deeper. We've now learned that Kinger memories come back in the dark, enabling him to think back to his wife. This early 3D model reveals that Gooseworx wanted to emphasize this, likely using it as a basis for creating the scene's final version. Speaking of animation, the animators truly outdid themselves for this episode. The quality, fluid movements, and expressive character portrayals felt incredibly lifelike and brought so much emotion to the story. Clearly, a great deal of effort went into making each moment resonate perfectly. Jack, an animator on YouTube, posted a behind-the-scenes video where he shared some scenes he worked on. In one particularly fascinating segment, Jack filmed himself searching through drawers as a reference to animate Pomni's motions when she searched for the keys. It's captivating to see animators using their own actions to breathe life into characters. Jack even recorded himself performing the roles of Martha Millenhall and Jax as they bond, emphasizing how much effort goes into making the scenes look real. For those who like a little behind-the-scenes humor, he even posted some damning animations of a bald Pomni, a fun bonus. Lastly, we have some bonus footage from Nez Haha on YouTube, where they shared the initial plans for the Headless Angel's movements. It's interesting to note the significant changes from the concept phase to the final version. There's a scene where Pomni confides that every day in the circus feels like a nightmare. The original storyboards had Pomni acting more dramatically, with bigger gestures and expressions, and I think these theatrical expressions would have amplified the scene, making her frustration feel even more powerful. In this moment, she says,
"Every day I spend here is one nightmare after the next. I knew it would end up like this!"
While many fans assume she's referring to Kane, I'm not convinced. She's clearly frustrated with Kane, as seen in previous episodes, but it's strange that she doesn't mention him by name. I suspect she might be talking about someone else, maybe someone from her past who could explain why she's now stuck in the circus. If that's the case, the more intense gestures would have underscored her deeper feelings. Perhaps the animators toned it down to reveal this information in a later episode. That's all the bonus scenes and early concept art Gooseworx and the animators shared with us. Let me know what you think of these insights in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.